Okay, before I really get into it, I don't want this video to come off as a rant or any kind of opposition to the police here in Nicaragua. When I travel, I do try to do some investigating and try to figure out what the local laws are and what I should do and what I shouldn't do, because I do want to respect everybody's culture and laws. Now, I did do some investigating before I came here, and I found out that the speed limit is 50 kilometers an hour, and that's the maximum that you'll find anywhere here in Nicaragua. So I wasn't necessarily following that to a T. It is easy to get up over 50 on some of these highways, and I did. I didn't get pulled over for that, but I will tell you about an infraction that I did get pulled over for. So I was in a small city called Masaya, and I was turning onto a main road, a pretty busy road. I guess outside of the city of Masaya it becomes a highway, so pretty busy. And there's 2 lanes and a divider. And there's a merge lane. Now, in that merge lane, there were a couple of vehicles that were parked. I didn't know what they were parked there for, but I parked behind one of them, and I went over and I asked the guy where I could find a bank machine. So I was out of the car for maybe 30 seconds. Still illegal, my bad. I got pulled over, and I was told that I could have caused an accident, and I didn't argue. There were some other vehicles stopped in that lane. Again, I'm not sure why they were stopped there, but I did feel like I was being lectured quite a bit, and I was nice. And I told the young woman, I understand what I did. I understand that I committed a infraction. Now, how do we solve this? Where do we go from here? And the way that what I'm looking for clarity on is, she told me that it was going to be a fine of 800 Cordobas, which is fine. I'll pay it. I made the mistake. No problem. But also, I was going to have to surrender my license, and they would give it back to me wherever I'm staying within 30 days. So that doesn't really work for me, because I'm only here for a few more days at that point. And if she takes my license from me, do I have to leave the rental car on the side of the road? And that's kind of what I was asking her, and I was being very polite about it. What do I do? Because I need to give this car back at the airport. And she went and got a supervisor. I think he was a supervisor anyway. He came over, and I told him the same thing. Look, I understand that I committed an infraction. I understand that I have to pay a fine, and I can pay that fine right now if I need to. But the problem is returning the car. And in the end, they let me go, which I thought was good. They let me go. But then the very next day, at the very same intersection, this time there were vehicles stopped in that merge lane again. And I did notice that they were stopped, and one of them had police talking to them. So I'm assuming that they were all pulled over. There were 2 or 3 vehicles. So they were pulled over and stopped so close to the intersection where I had to turn right that I skipped right over the merge lane. Again, I understand. You're supposed to pull into a merge lane, get up to speed, and then get on the road or highway after that. I get it. I get it. It's still an infraction. I guess I was expected that I had to pull into that merge lane and quickly whip the wheel around to get right into that other lane in order to not commit that infraction. But I didn't do that, so I got pulled over again. And it was the same type of situation. They were telling me about the fine, and again, I'm okay with that. I'll pay the fines all day long. I don't care about the money. It's not that expensive. But he also told me that I was going to lose my license and I wouldn't be able to take the car off the scene. So I'm just wondering, these infractions, it's not like I was driving double the speed limit and I was just completely ignoring the laws or driving impaired. I wasn't doing something that warranted, possible jail time or anything like that. So I'm just wondering if this is something that is common here in Nicaragua. Do people lose their license and literally have to surrender the car at the side of the road in order to leave the scene? And then what do? Do you have to pay a tow truck? I mean, I was a couple hours away from Managua, so do I have to pay a tow truck to bring that car back to the rental agency? What happens with that? So I don't know if anybody's going to see this video that has experience here in Nicaragua, but if you do, please let me know, because I'm curious if there's something that I could have done differently, if there's something that I did wrong, I mean, I just want to make sure that I'm always respecting the places that I visit, but it did seem to be a little bit of a tricky situation. So I'll probably make this same video in Spanish. By the way, the whole interaction was in Spanish. So I'm also wondering if maybe I would have been better off to not come forward with and give them the knowledge that I speak Spanish. But I don't know, I just don't feel like lying to people. I'd rather just communicate like humans, right? So anyway, I'll probably make the same video in Spanish and see if anybody gets back to me. Thanks for listening.